Welcome to Firearms of America. Today, as you guys can see, I'm out here at Shooters in Fort Myers, Florida, about to do the review of some Glocks. Well, it's not actually going to be a regular review, it's going to be a comparison yet again. Suppose you're a Glock person. Suppose you want the smallest, slimmest Glock that is out there. Well, you have two options really. You have Glock 43. The smallest Glock that is available, the slimmest, the lightest that is available in 9mm. 3.4-inch barrel, 6 capacity magazines. And we're not going to talk about all the aftermarket magazines that are available. Yes, there are aftermarket available with higher capacity, but we're going to stick to 6 that it comes with. But you do have another option. You have Glock 42. Yes, that is also the slimmest, the lightest option that there is from Glock with a 3.2-inch barrel and 6 capacity magazine, but this one is chambered in 380 auto. So at the end of the day, this comparison is not only going to be Glock 42 versus Glock 43, it is also going to be 380 auto versus 9mm for your concealed carry purposes. So as always, before doing any more talking, let's do some shooting. And for the shooting purposes, I have, let's see, this is a 9mm and this is the 380. And I was really lucky to find absolutely exactly the same ammo for 9mm and 380. And that's what I'm going to be using. So let's put some 5 rounds into Glock 43, 5 rounds into Glock 42. And I'm really curious about this one myself, I have to say, because I carry myself a Glock 42, and the reason why I carry the Glock 42 is because I wanted the smallest, slimmest option possible, period. But I have to say, I do prefer 9mm over 380 outer, just because of overall better specs, and at the same time availability, because everything else that I carry, that I have in my loadout, in my setup, I have it in 9mm. So it only makes sense to have, of course, your concealed carry in 9mm as well. Okay, so while I'm loading the magazines, I have to say, very easy to load. 380 auto magazines, they are extremely easy to load, and this one is no exception. Definitely easier to load than the 9mm. And both of them, as you can see, a little bit thinner than the 9mm, and I'll try to kind of get the sense. So as you can see, a little bit more petite, all right, but much easier to load compared to the 9mm, just because the spring is doesn't really need to be as tight as on the 9mm. So as you can see, fresh painted targets. I'm gonna start with that yellow circle right in the middle, and I'm gonna start with, I think I'm gonna start with, yep, Glock 43. Let's do that. All right, pretty terrible group. Let's see if I can do a better job with the Glock 42 in 380 auto. Okay, now I'm gonna do the orange circle at the very top. Ooh, and we got a jam. And we got a very nice jam. Haven't had a jam in a Glock in quite some time, but this is a brand new Glock that is being shot for the very first time. Still, no excuses, especially for the Glock. Just got another jam. Might not be very happy with this ammo, this Glock. Okay. All right. Even worse of the group is the Glock 42. Okay, so let's start from the very beginning, and then as we go, I'll do some more shooting. Hopefully there will not be any more misfits. Let's start with the grips. Of course, on the Glock 42, you're gonna have a smaller grip. And as you can see, the difference is quite noticeable. Not only you have thinner grip, but you also have slimmer overall profile on Glock 42, and it is quite noticeable. Obviously, if you're carrying it, it's lighter. It's easier to conceal, the Glock 42. I mean, if you're doing the appendix carry, or for example, inside the waistband at the back, that slimmer profile that sits like almost flat to your body, even with like a tight shirt, is really easy to conceal. So it might be more appealing to go and get yourself a Glock 42, but also overall, compared to overall dimensions of the grip, because this grip is thinner for smaller hands like mine, it's much easier to have a full wrap. However, both of the options, you have to keep in mind that your pinky is going to be hanging around. Now, Glock does have, with some extra magazines, they have the extension for the pinky, but again, if we are now starting to implement the extensions, the mag extensions, the pinky extensions, now it takes away from, you know, the whole point of getting this as very easy to conceal. All right, now moving on further. Now the features whenever it comes to the mag release, the slide stop, they're all exactly the same, non-ambidextrous, but the mag release is, you can switch it, so it's on the other side. So if you're left-handed, the only thing you will need to figure out is your slide stop, all right, which is a very flat sitting, your standard Glock slide release or slide stop, whatever you prefer to call it. Although I have to say, for whatever reason, I'm not sure why, on the Glock 43, the slide release, slide stop sits much closer to the frame and the slide compared to the Glock 42. Check this out. And it's really hard to see the difference, but once you are actually playing with it at the same time, it is much easier to catch the slide release, slide stop on your Glock 42. Now moving on further to the slide, on the Glock 42 we have no serrations at the front, some serrations at the back. Same thing on the Glock 43, nothing in the front, the back. Now the front of the slide, as you can see, overall the slide itself, the real estate of the slide on the 42, you can see it is definitely slimmer, which also contributes to the lighter weight. Now, we have some serrations on both at the very front of the trigger guard over here. No accessory rails on both of them. Let's put some, let's do 3 rounds, because I want to do a quick switch between the two. 3 rounds in each, and then we'll talk about the trigger and we'll talk about the sights, which both of them, they have exactly the same trigger, exactly the same sights. But nevertheless, I do want to mention them, just so that you know exactly what they look like. Obviously, I can't show you how they feel like, but I can do my best to describe it. Okay, so Glock 42, Glock 43. Let's finish up that orange circle at the top. We are getting jams. That's not good. Now this time I didn't eject. Okay. Wow. I'm really not doing that great of a job hitting that orange circle today with these, which is fine because I have a Glock 45 for my next video, and this thing, yeah, can't miss with that one. Okay, so let's quickly talk about the trigger. Now, Glock 42, we have our safe action pre-trigger over here. Standard Glock trigger feel. If you, I mean, most likely chances are you know exactly what I'm talking about, all right? It's really hard. If you shot one Glock trigger, then most likely you're already like, okay, yeah, I know exactly what it feels like. And this, both of them are practically identical. Well, they are identical, really, for the most part. Now, whenever it comes to racking, that's one thing that I wanted to mention. Glock 42 and Glock 43. 42 is a little bit, it feels just a little bit harder to rack. Just a little bit of a tighter spring in a guide rod compared to 43. Plus, you have to also keep in mind, because you have extra real estate of a thicker slide, it's just a little bit easier to grip. And that kind of contributes to the easiness of racking. But let's move on to the sights. We have our standard Glock sights on both of these pistols. Very standard, nothing crazy. Now, Glock 43, it does come with the MOS. I think it's either 43 or 43X, but the point is you can get a model with the MOS cut out for your favorite optic. Glock 42 at the moment does not have that option. They don't have the MOS option for the Glock 42, unfortunately, because it would be nicer. Also, it would be nice to have the rails at the front for your accessory if you want to put on the flashlight. However, I do have to mention that TLR6 flashlight is available for Glock 42, which is a little bit of a different mounting option, but still, if you do want to put a flashlight on your Glock 42, you can. Okay, so let's load up some 3 more rounds in both of these and do some final tests. And this time I'll try to hit the flippy pedals. Honestly, that's over ambitious, definitely, for sure, because couldn't even hit that orange, so probably not gonna hit the flippy pedals at all. Overall, it's really hard to come with two conclusions on this one, to be honest, because a little bit of lighter, a little bit of slimmer profile, even though it's just in, it's 380, you're compromising on 9mm getting instead of the 9mm getting 380, which honestly, I mean, if you are interested, if you don't know the difference between 380 and 9mm, it is the same bullet, and I know in this round it's not the same bullet because it's a little bit of a lower grain, so you have a flat tip on this one and then the rounded tip on this one, but if they were both the same, you can find exactly the same bullet dimensions, but a different cartridge. As you can see, the cartridge itself is shorter in the 380, so you have a little bit of less of a load, so a bit less of punch, a little bit less of velocity. Do you need that extra little velocity that you get from a 9mm over the 380? Well, of course. Why not? But at the same time, you kind of do want to be able to carry your handgun as light, as slim, as easy to carry as possible. Okay, let's try to hit those flippy pedals, and then we will try to do a reasonable conclusion here. As expected. Come on, concentrate. Wow, that's not good. Keeps on jamming. Wow. Glock 42 does not like this. Does not like this ammo at all. And didn't like back on last round. Okay, so as you can see, 42 was not happy with this ammo. And I want to say that whenever it comes to compact guns like this, the smaller the guns get, the more picky they become whenever it comes to the reliability. And the reason for that, of course, is because now you have a shorter spring, shorter guide rod. So now, instead of the whole proper cycle that you have in your normal size gun, you only have about a few inches of that travel, and it has to be more precise. So now if you're using a little bit of a lighter grain, a little bit of something lower quality ammo, it starts to give you trouble. Now personally, I never had any problems with my Glock 42 that I had, and I actually have it in the car. I'm gonna grab it and try it with this ammo just to see if that one also does not like this ammo. But still, you do want to make sure that you don't have any reliability problems, especially whenever it comes to your concealed carry gun. So in this comparison, this particular one, of course, I have to give it to the Glock 43. Well, it's a little bit bigger, it's a little bit heavier, but I have not any single problems, at least in this review, and I really never had a problem with a 9mm Glock in general. For whatever reason, the older problems that I had were in some other calibers. But again, that is not an indication that you should not go ahead and go get yourself a G42. If that is what you want, if you want to go with that absolutely smallest profile that is available in a Glock. So, I really hope this video was useful for you to determine which one it is that you want to get for yourself. If you found it useful, please consider subscribing because, like I said, new videos will be coming. In fact, the next one that I'm going to be doing is a comparison between these two. Yes, Glock 45 and a very popular Beretta that is out there, Beretta APX. I actually really do like this Beretta handgun. So, make sure to subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Alright, I got my Glock 42 here now. Let's try to shoot it with this streak ammo. See if it's gonna give me problems on my Glock as well. Alright. 5 rounds. See, maybe I can do a better job with the target, considering that I have some custom sights. Okay, orange. Got 3 bullseyes in a row, and also not a single jam. As you can see, I got 4 rounds of this left. I'm gonna use them. Actually, I have some weird round from somewhere, I don't know where. I'm gonna use that too. So another 5 rounds, just to be 100% sure. Didn't like on the last round. Not a big deal. But at least it didn't jam. So, again, as you can see, even with upgraded guide rod, this has a different guide rod and a bunch of other things around it. As you can see, different aftermarket magazine. It did not jam. So that means that the Glock 42 that I was reviewing in this video, either there's a problem with the Glock itself, or it just needs a little bit of a break-in time, which honestly, I'm not a fan of that. When you're buying a gun, you expect it to be reliable right out of the box. You don't want it to be, you know, oh, okay, so I'm gonna shoot it for 200 rounds and then I'm gonna start properly working. It's stupid, okay? Right out of the box, it has to be working fine. So I guess we will have to address this with Mr. Cody and either send it back for repair to manufacturer, Glock. Terrible, terrible. Shouldn't be acceptable for the Glock. But, thank you very much guys for watching yet again. I'll see you guys in the next video.